Imagine stepping outside your home on a quiet afternoon, only to be blindsided by a ferocious predator. Claws tearing, teeth sinking, a life-or-death struggle unfolding just steps from your front door. This wasn't deep in the wilderness. This was a suburban backyard. And the attacker, a crazed rabid bobcat with one mission: to kill. Today we bring you the harrowing true story of a man who faced the unimaginable and lived to tell the tale. You won't believe how this savage encounter ended. Welcome to Savage Tales Animal Encounters, where we bring you the most intense, heart-stopping and jaw-dropping true stories of humans coming face to face with the wild. From deadly predators to unbelievable survival stories, we dive deep into the world of nature's fiercest creatures and the people who dare to cross their path. If you love thrilling, real-life encounters with the animal kingdom, then you're in the right place. But before we dive into today's shocking story, we need you to join our growing community of wildlife enthusiasts. Here's how you can be part of the Savage Tales Pack. Smash that like button to let us know you love these insane animal encounters. Hit the subscribe button and become a part of the most fearless audience on YouTube. Drop a comment below. Have you ever had a close call with wildlife? Or what would you do in this situation? We read every single one. And most importantly, ring that notification bell so you never miss a pulse-pounding new episode. All right, now that you're locked in, let's dive into one of the most terrifying bobcat attacks ever recorded. This is Savage Tales Animal Encounters, where nature isn't just wild, it's savage. It was a mild Sunday afternoon in Person County, North Carolina. Greg Slaughter, a man who had lived near the scenic Mayo Lake for years, was enjoying what should have been just another peaceful day. The air was crisp, and the sun cast golden streaks through the trees as he stepped outside, heading toward his garage. He had no reason to suspect that danger was lurking nearby, no eerie silence, no sign of a predator stalking its prey. As he walked across his driveway, something unusual caught his attention. A sharp, distressed yelp from his neighbor's dog. His ears perked up. The sound was unnatural, urgent, like an alarm cutting through the calm. He stopped in his tracks and turned his head toward the noise, scanning the area. Then, about 150 feet away, he saw it. A bobcat. At first, it seemed to be standing still, its sleek, muscular frame low to the ground, its amber eyes locked onto something unseen. Its mottled brown coat blended into the wooded backdrop, making it hard to distinguish from the underbrush. Slaughter had seen bobcats before, usually brief glimpses as they darted through the forest, keeping their distance from humans. They were known for their stealth and elusiveness, creatures of the wild that rarely showed themselves so openly. But something was off. This bobcat wasn't moving away, instead it was staring at him. Slaughter took a cautious step back, instinctively feeling an unease creeping in. The animal's posture wasn't that of a typical wildcat minding its own business. It was rigid, tense, and unsettlingly fixated on him. Its ears were pinned back, its mouth slightly open, revealing sharp teeth beneath curled lips. That's when he noticed something else. The bobcat's body was trembling slightly, as if vibrating with erratic energy. A chill ran down his spine. Then, without warning, the bobcat let out a guttural, almost unnatural growl. The sound was deep, guttural, more aggressive than anything he had ever heard from an animal that size. It was then that Slaughter realized this wasn't a normal bobcat. It was something far more dangerous. His heart pounded as the wildcat took its first steps toward him, slow at first, calculating, but in the blink of an eye, its muscles coiled like a spring, and it launched forward with terrifying speed. What happened next was a blur of teeth, claws, and pure survival instinct. In an instant, the bobcat closed the distance between them, its lean, muscular body propelling it forward like a missile. Slaughter barely had time to react before the animal was airborne, its sharp claws outstretched, aiming straight for his face and neck. The impact hit him like a freight train, knocking him off balance and sending him crashing backward onto the hard ground. Pain exploded across his body as the bobcat's claws raked across his skin, tearing into his arms and chest. He instinctively threw up his hands in a desperate attempt to shield himself, but the wildcat was relentless. It snarled viciously, a sound filled with raw aggression and something more, something unnatural, rabies. The thought barely registered in his mind as he felt the creature's teeth sink into his shoulder. A sharp, searing pain shot through him as the fangs punctured deep into his flesh. The bobcat shook its head violently, trying to rip deeper, its primal instincts taking over. Slaughter gritted his teeth and let out a guttural yell, the sheer force of adrenaline surging through his veins. He couldn't think, he could only fight. With every ounce of strength he had, he grabbed the bobcat by the scruff of its neck and wrenched it away from his body, but the animal twisted and clawed frantically, leaving deep gashes along his forearms. It was a flurry of fur, claws and teeth, an unrelenting force of nature determined to bring him down. Slaughter rolled onto his side, struggling to get his legs underneath him, but the bobcat struck again, its powerful hind legs kicking and scratching. He felt his skin tear, warm blood trickling down his arms. His breath came in ragged gasps, his muscles burning from exertion, but he refused to let go. Then, out of the chaos, a voice, his wife. She had heard his desperate cries for help and came running, panic in her eyes as she took in the brutal scene unfolding before her. Without hesitation, she grabbed the gun they kept in the house and rushed to his side. Summoning every last ounce of strength, Slaughter shoved the bobcat away, sending it skidding across the ground. As the wildcat scrambled to regain its footing, he reached for the gun his wife held out to him, his hands shaking, his body battered and bleeding. He raised it, his vision blurred with sweat and blood, and fired. The crack of the gunshot echoed through the trees. The bobcat didn't fall. Instead, it let out a guttural snarl and darted off into the woods, vanishing as quickly as it had appeared. Slaughter collapsed onto the ground, his chest heaving, his entire body trembling from the sheer exhaustion and pain. Blood coated his arms, his chest, his face, some his own, some the bobcat's. His wife rushed to his side, her hands shaking as she tried to assess the damage. Within minutes, paramedics arrived, quickly tending to his wounds. He was covered in deep scratches, bite marks and puncture wounds. The worst injury was behind his neck, where the bobcat had initially latched on, its teeth sinking dangerously close to his spine. As they loaded him into the ambulance, a new fear crept into his mind. Rabies. He knew the risks. If the bobcat had been rabid, every second mattered. At the hospital, doctors wasted no time. He was given multiple injections, including the painful rabies shots, a brutal but necessary precaution. Meanwhile, wildlife officials launched an immediate search for the bobcat. It didn't take long. Just outside a neighbor's home, they found it, still aggressive, still unpredictable. The decision was clear, it had to be put down. Its body was sent to a lab in Raleigh for rabies testing. Days later, the results came back. Positive. The bobcat had indeed been rabid, its erratic behavior explained by the deadly virus ravaging its brain. Had Slaughter not fought as hard as he did, had he not received treatment in time, his story might have ended very differently. The attack left more than just scars. It left a lasting sense of unease. Slaughter couldn't shake the thought. What if it had been a child? What if it had attacked someone who wasn't strong enough to fight back? Now, every time he steps outside, he's more cautious, more aware of his surroundings. The community, too, has been put on high alert, ensuring pets are vaccinated, staying vigilant for any signs of unusual wildlife behavior. One thing is certain. Slaughter will never forget that day. The day he came face to face with a savage force of nature and survived. Wow. What an absolutely terrifying encounter. Greg Slaughter's story is a chilling reminder that nature is as unpredictable as it is powerful. One moment you're enjoying a peaceful afternoon, and the next you're locked in a fight for your life. But through sheer willpower, quick thinking and adrenaline, he survived one of the most aggressive bobcat attacks ever recorded. If you found this story as gripping as we did, then don't leave just yet. We want you to be part of our growing community of wildlife enthusiasts who thrive on real-life survival tales and jaw-dropping animal encounters. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. It helps us bring you more insane true stories. Hit that big red subscribe button and join the Savage Tales Pack, where we explore the wildest animal encounters from around the world. Drop a comment below. What would you do if you found yourself face to face with a rabid predator? Or have you ever had a scary animal encounter of your own? We want to hear your stories. And most importantly, ring that notification bell so you never miss another pulse-pounding episode of Savage Tales Animal Encounters. Thank you so much for watching and being part of this adventure with us. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, when it comes to the wild, it's not just dangerous, it's savage. See you in the next one.